Welcome back to another episode of Reffing with the Sappers. We have a game here. It's going to be the very first time that I had the honor of being the center on a UPSL semi-pro women's adult match. So a big time there. I know we've reviewed another adult league match here, but that was kind of a more adult recreational. So this was the semi-pro match, first time I've done one. It was between Sac United and Collegiate Development Academy. Sac United will be white, CDA will be in blue. And it was an interesting game. Really happy to have Doran here, who was my assistant referee on this match. We've worked together and been part of some of the mentoring groups before, right. So really had a really great crew. But Doran, give us a little bit of intro to yourself.
So I started refereeing from 2016. So I've been doing this for a good period of 7 years. I've been a grassroots referee. And this is my second year into doing the UPSL adults games, men's and women's combined. So it's been a pleasure to be doing these games, and it's an honor to be here with Scott. It's always a learning process once you watch his videos. So thanks for having me, Scott.
Okay, getting this game started, we were on the beautiful turf fields at Granite Regional Park where Sac United plays. I had Doran here was the AR on the technical sideline, which is the same sideline as the camera, and I had Viv on the far side. And so let's get it going. It's 45 minutes. Good luck.
So Scott, here's just a quick feedback for you, right, on the kickoff position. When you blow the whistle, right now you're standing right at top of the circle, right? You could probably already be in the passing lane because the player who passed back could already be making a straight run up the circle. So you would rather want to be in a more wider position,
okay.
And you can make the run forward or come back when you're at the wider angle. That would be just my recommendation.
So maybe another 7-10 yards back.
That would be perfect. That will be perfect. Yes, everything else is good. Good, strong, loud whistle.
All right, this was an easy game to get going. We were kind of 4 minutes in before we had our first decision, and it was a really straightforward offside call. So the ball's coming over here to the side, kind of right there is our moment of decision. The camera is going to pan. You see Viv on the far side. He's looking down this line. It looks like kind of this player here at the bottom of the circle, and this defender here probably are second to last defenders. Actually, there might even be one here. But as we scroll here, we can see this player is offside. Obviously, we didn't have a great camera angle, but I don't think there's any doubt that that's the correct call. So on to minute 11. We're on the far side of the field, and we're going to see a player kind of one-touch it to her teammate, and then this blue player really just kind of comes in behind her a little bit too strong. I can't really tell because of the way, the view, if she's pushing her in the back or if she clipped her on the, the kind of pushed her in the hip. But either way, that was a pretty straightforward one and easy to call, and the first real actual foul of this particular match. So this game was off to a pretty chill start. We're now into minute 19 before we've got our next decision, and it is another offside call. So we're going to see White's bringing the ball up. There's a challenge for it, and this player sends it long. Right there is our moment of decision. We can see our second to last defender is this blue player here, but the white player, the optics of the camera not being on the line make it a little bit deceiving. Just looking at it here, it looks like White is leaning forward, enough that probably her head and shoulder is past the line.
And Viv is in the perfect position to call that. It's probably a smidge or offside, but that's good positioning from the AR2 to sell that call. Perfect.
Yep.
That's perfect.
On to minute 21, we've got a ball that's kind of up for grabs. Nobody's really quite got possession of it here. These two players battle for it, and then right there, it looks like from this camera angle that White tries to stick her foot out and get this player, and she just misses the ball entirely and goes through Blue's thigh to get it. Now, I think, even if she had gotten the ball here, that's probably still a foul because she went through her leg to get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now I ended up when I talked to them here, I think I wasn't even convinced she was, at least from my angle on the field, I wasn't as convinced that she was trying to play the ball. Let's listen to what I say to her here. 17. It's too hard. Not even trying to play the ball, right? Yeah, I wasn't ready to give a yellow card there, but I thought the warning was appropriate.
Right. And the one additional thing I would do, Scott, if I were you, is just to check on the blue player, hey, everything good, thumbs up, and then we start walking away. Yeah, but just that's it. Simple. Careless foul.
Just
nothing
show the
more.
empathy if she's hurt.
Correct. So just making sure that we managed the white player, made sure she knows what she did there. Hey, be careful next time. And then we move on to the blue player. Hey, blue, you good? We okay to restart? And then that's it. We go from there.
Into minute 25, we've got our first yellow card of the match for stopping a promising attack. Blue has a really nice breakaway here. They flip the field. I'm running at full speed trying to keep up with them, but she comes up here. And then right there, white just kind of clumsily, gets her from behind. There's another defender. I'm looking around and I'm seeing that there's at least one other defender directly between her and the goals, plus a couple of other defenders on the edges. So I'm not thinking dog so in this situation, but she definitely had a breakaway and got clipped from behind there, right outside of the penalty area going into goal. So, and options to the left of somebody to pass it to. So for me, this was pretty clearly a tactical foul for stopping a promising attack or SPA. This was your end of the field too.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you were right there, 10 yards away. You got the perfect angle. Clumsy, as you said. 3 defenders, 2 attackers. The ball was probably going to be passed wide. So, great call. Yellow card, caution for stopping a promising attack. Totally agree with you.
Into minute 28, we've got white on a fast breakaway here, and she's bringing the ball up, tries to make a pass, and this blue defender is, they're trying to challenge for the ball. I ended up making this a charge call on the field. These are always tough decisions for me because when the offense has the ball and the defender's coming in to challenge for it, and, it's tough to penalize the attacker here, but I really felt like she makes this pass and then she kind of dips her shoulder. So I'll get it back here and let me play it in slow motion. So she makes that pass and then I just felt like she threw that shoulder out into the contact rather than trying to pull out of the contact. And that's really what I got her for. But I guess, Doran, what do you see in that situation?
So I definitely see that she takes a couple of heavy touches, one right there and then one right there, where I don't think they were intentional passes towards the player in white, but anyways, I do see your point where she does lower the shoulder. And the one thing I would do recommend here, like they've accepted the foul, you blew the whistle, we move on, but just come back, take a moment, slow the game down, check on the player in blue because she took a pretty heavy fall on the turf.
I think I was starting to walk over to talk to her, but then she pops up so quickly and
Right.
starts looking for the ball. That's when I'm like, okay, well, I guess she must be fine.
Yeah, but it's one of those where the adrenaline is pumping. She just got fouled big time. So I would say
slow it down.
slow the game
instead.
down.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Just check on her that way. She's like, hey, I have a referee who really cares about it. And again, just the whole optics of it looks amazing when you do that.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of a minute later, we've got white kind of bringing the ball up. She's trying to send this ball long, but right here, as the blue defender comes over, kind of jumps up to try to put her body in the way, she also throws her arms out, and it looks like it hits her right on the right elbow. Really felt, a lot of times when they're that close, you give a little bit more deference to it being a natural position, but her arms get pretty high up and out away from her body. So I felt like that was an unnatural position and it dropped the ball right down. So made it a pretty straightforward handball to call. A couple minutes later, white is again trying to bring the ball up. And then right here, we've got an offside decision because this ball comes over. This player one times it. So right there is our moment of decision. And it looks like our second to last defender is what is that, number 15, blue, standing here. And you can see the player's clearly beyond her. Looks again like Viv's in a great position to call that. So as soon as that ball comes over, he pops up his flag. 4 minutes later, in minute 35, we've got another offside decision. The ball is kind of coming up here, right here. She sees she's got an outlet pass. Right there's our moment of decision. The camera's going to kind of pan, but it's this player right over here that is our second to last defender. And as the camera pans over, we'll end up seeing, I guess maybe there's another defender, but we can see this white player standing on the other side of her is, further closer to the goal. So again, Viv in a good position to call that.
Yeah.
Into minute 37, we've got what ends up being a fairly on the harder side of a foul, but let's watch to see what happens. So White's bringing this ball in, has possession, going into attack into the penalty area, or at the top of the penalty area, but she just kind of gets a heavy touch on it here, touches it further than she expects to, and this blue defender gets in her, gets in position on it, and then, I'm not sure if that was a frustration or if she was trying to go through, but there's contact there into the upper back, pushes her down. I call that right away. I see that she goes down. I don't talk to them here. Maybe there's an argument that I should have, because that is a harder foul. I don't think it's enough for a yellow, where I'm thinking I should have done a yellow card, but I probably should have talked to her here. I guess, Doran, what do you see? And then we'll listen to the audio.
Yeah, I do. I'm with you on that one. Definitely a much harder foul. More frustrating for her, because I believe she took a heavy touch and she wants to get the ball back and probably take a shot. But either way, yeah, again, an opportunity for you to just kind of slow the game down. The ball's gone, the player's on the ground. Just blow the whistle, call the white player towards you, or you walk up towards her and say, hey, can we please have no more of that? And then that's it. That's it. They know that they are now on your radar, and they know that you're watching them. So that's all.
Now, I did try to check to see if this player was okay, but at first I signal direction and I tell them that it's going to be a kick on the ground, so nobody's confused if it's a corner or a goal kick or whatnot. Blue kick on the ground. You all right? 16. 16. You okay? All right. Oh, sorry. You're good too? Okay. So I asked the wrong player if they were okay, but apparently she was doing well as well.
Hey, that's good. They're engaging with you, so that's perfect. That's when you can tell, okay, the temperature of the game is low and everybody's playing in good spirit. So, no, good job. Good job checking on them. That's really good.
Into minute 39, we've got a decision here that I made a no call on the pitch, but I'm not really sure if I got this one right or not. So as we play this out, we're going to see, I kind of get myself into a dangerous position here. I'm going to play this here. I'm trying to get out of where I know they're going to be passing this, and in that I kind of get to flipping myself, and right here I kind of make a mistake, and now the ball is behind me because I'm trying to move this direction. But here, this blue player is going to make this pass up, and after her legs extended, she's already completed the pass, or at least sent the ball. This white player is going to come through the back of her thigh, and you can kind of watch my body language. I look back and I say, oh crap, she's on the ground, but I don't think I saw that, or I certainly did not have a good view of it, because you can see my head here. I'm looking. That would have only been in my periphery. I would have been looking more to where this ball was going. And I think it probably has more to do with how I had turned my back to the play and let it go behind me.
So for me, this is definitely a foul. A careless one, maybe even reckless. I cannot tell from the video how much force was involved there, but this is definitely a late contact. The ball is already probably 3 to 4 yards past the player. This is definitely a foul for me. Yeah. And this is, again, in one of those spots where neither AR1 or AR2 can help you out there. This is one of those where the referee is all on his own. So, yeah, this is definitely a foul for me.
Yeah, and for me, I think that definitely a deduction on this one. And this is just poor positioning on my part. I'm trying to move up to where I think the ball is going to be, because I'm expecting this to be a breakaway. And, I just lose sight of it. Into minute 41, blue finally gets an attack. They haven't had that many on the attacking end, but there's a cross happening here, and this blue player in the penalty area is going for it. White defender's trying to come in and get the ball. They're battling. White kind of gets position, and then blue just kind of clips her from behind. So I do make this call and grant the direct free kick to the defense there, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so a couple of inputs on this one, right, Scott? So number one thing is, as soon as you see that pass coming in from the right-hand side, more towards my side,
right here,
I would say you should already be taking a couple of steps more towards the ball, towards the sideline, because you should be expecting this sort of challenge either on the attacker or on the defender. And the other thing is, a couple seconds later after you blow the whistle, you'll see the blue player there. She kicks the ball away. So players kind of be naughty when they are like, oh, the referee is not watching me, or maybe he's not in the vicinity. So I would just recommend to you probably be a couple, maybe 5 yards closer to that call, and that way, if the ball is kicked away, look, White is not complaining here. They go to retrieve the ball. That's fine. It's a low temperature game, but this is a perfect moment for you to step in, manage that player, and tell her, hey, I've seen that. I'm giving you one opportunity. No more of that. Kind of sends a message to everybody out there, both the teams. Hey, the ref will not take.
On to minute 44, we've got another offside decision here by the white team on an attack, and kind of right there is our moment of decision, and we can see Viv is over here. He is on a really good line with our second to last defender, and that defensive line seems to be this player here, and the player that he's going to call offside is the one standing over here closer to him. Obviously this camera is not right on the line. Very, very difficult to tell here. It looks like this could possibly be wrong, but also if she's leaning just forward enough, and Viv's done a good job all game, and he's right on that line. So I honestly, I think we have to just trust his call on this. So our final decision of the first half, we're in minute 45. Blue is on an attack, and this player just touches it a little bit too heavy. The white defender is there kind of in her way, and you can see she gives her kind of a shove in the upper back, more than is necessary long after the ball is away. So you can't do that. I call a foul there and give White the direct free kick. I'm not sure if she was hoping, I just wasn't looking. I considered, honestly, with this type of thing, I consider a yellow card in these instances. This hadn't been one of those games, and it hadn't been a high temperature, so I chose to just go with a warning.
Lola, just go back.
Sorry about that. You can't push her when the ball is away like that.
Yeah, but if she's standing right in front of me when I'm on a run, right? Okay.
She's entitled to exist, okay? All right, right there. So first you hear me apologize because I blew the whistle and it was like right in a player's ear, and I saw her flinch. But
the one recommendation I do have for you, Scott, over here is, since that happened probably a good 2 to 3 seconds later, the push, I'd say maybe have a light jog towards the situation, because again, as you said, it's not been a high temperature game. It's been all calm. They've been respectful of each other. Just to keep it that way, maybe take a couple of 2 to 3 steps towards that, wherever that happened. That way, White knows she should not retaliate, because if she was frustrated, she has a right to be frustrated over here, the player in white who got fouled. So I would just say, apart from talking to the player in blue, which you did, just probably get there quicker, and let's just diffuse. Yeah, it kind of helps to diffuse the situation, and let the player in white know, hey, the ref is gonna take care of me. Let him deal with the player in blue. I'm gonna step away.
And that ended up being our last call of the first half. Halftime, ladies. Going into halftime here, this was, I think, had been my first game on an 11v11 field in almost a month, and they had me sprinting. They had flipped the field a few times.
They definitely had you.
I felt like I had been doing a good job keeping up with it, but I was definitely feeling it at this halftime. Plus, it was the first kind of really hot day of the year.
It was. I believe you had called everything that had needed to be called, except for the one that we obviously missed right in the middle of the field.
Yep.
But no, the players, as I said, the players, the coaches, everybody was respectful of your calls, and they adjusted their play towards how the ref wanted them to play the game, which is with good sportsmanship and keeping the safety in mind. So no, easy first half.
All right, ladies, 45 minutes. Good luck.
Yeah, so the same thing, right? That would just probably be 5 yards more towards the sideline. That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
You have a good whistle though for the restart. I gotta give you that. I've had some referees who tweet, wait, did the half already start? Because it's it's one of those major events, right? Kickoffs in each half, either a PK, a red card. You gotta blow that whistle really loud so that everybody knows that a major incident has happened, and kickoffs are one of those. So we already have our first offside of the second half, probably a couple minutes after the restart, and this is finally on my side, the AR1 side. So again, it's on Sacramento United, and we already talked about this as a crew that we're going to have an offside calls again in the second half. They have this tendency. So again, we see this player who's in an offside position inside the penalty area ahead of the second to last defender. And as the pass is made from the top of the 18-yard box, she's already a step or two in front of the last defender. I'm waiting for her to be involved in the play, and as soon as she gets involved, I'm putting the flag up.
Into minute 49, we've got blue on one of their most promising attacks of the match, and this blue player is going to bring it around and then try to cross the ball back over into the center. And you see that she does a fall. Obviously the camera is panning, so we don't see exactly how she lands. But what you can see there quickly, I throw up my hands and do the helicopter and say, nope, no foul there. What I really saw on the field was that, like right here, I'll slow it down. I saw that she was whipping her body around in order to put all of her momentum into the cross. And it looked to me like she was going to fall regardless. She was, and there's maybe a little bit of contact, but I didn't feel it was foul level contact. And so that's why I said, nope, nothing there. But I guess, Doran, what do you see in this one?
Yeah, I have something similar to what you just said, Scott. She's already off balance as she makes that pass towards the top of the 18. And in those situations, even if there's slight contact, you're already going to go to the ground. So just for future references, like for all of us referees, like we have to watch that next half a second to make sure there's no off-the-ball contact. And in this situation, say even if there was contact and this is a foul, this was a perfect advantage. And as you see, it goes to blue, she takes a shot, so just in future. But this one, you have the perfect angle. If you have no contact there, she's already off balance, no call. So that's good.
Now we're into minute 54, and the white team has rattled off another goal, so we're now 2-0. And right here, the ball's kind of up for grabs. There's a header, and then as they're battling for it, this white player gets, they get their arms tangled up, but she kind of holds on a hair too long, pulls her off of that opportunity to go after that ball. I felt the blue probably would have gotten that ball for sure. I mean, she gets it anyway, but she would have had better possession, better options without the pull. That's right on the borderline of is it too much, but it definitely is over the line for me. So I made that a call on the field. Not more than 30 seconds later, we've got a handball, and we can see here this ball gets headed up, and then the defender, you can't really see it well from this camera angle, but I had a good view of this on the field, and she really kind of moved her arm out towards the ball, and you can see how it just drops directly at her foot. Into minute 57, we've got another handling offense, or at least I called it handling on the field. Let's watch it and see what happens. So right here, ball is really up for grabs. These two players come in, and if I do it in slow motion, we see it kind of bounces off this blue player's hip, goes up, and then it hits the white player's arms who are out there, and then it drops at her feet where she and her teammate have it. Now, I did call that. I called it as a handling offense. I think there's an argument to be made that she's just kind of got her arms up, trying to protect herself from that contact of a bigger blue player coming at her. But I kind of felt like her arms were out enough and the ball dropped right at her feet. So for me, I called that handling. Could go either way, but I guess I'm comfortable with the call. I guess, Doran, what do you see on this one?
So as an AR1, right, I had a similar angle to what the camera has right here, yeah? So in my opinion, the player in white, her arms are tucked in, and she's more so protecting herself from contact from the blue player, as you said. And the ball just brushes off her arm in natural position. I mean, yeah, it gets lucky, it just falls down to her feet or her teammate's feet. But from my angle and my opinion, it's a 50-50. I would probably not call this one.
Hey, let us know in the comments. What do you guys think? Would you call this handling, or would you have let this play and kind of define that as a natural position just because she's protecting herself from potential contact from the incoming opponent?
Yeah, and her arms are
Up next, we are now into minute 61. Blue is trying to attack into the penalty area, and she just kind of goes through this defender's back, gives her a harder push, and you can even see my assistant referee, Viv, he pops up his flag as well on the far side. I did not go with a card here, and I don't think I even talked to the girl. I probably should have at least talked to her, because that's a harder foul. That's different than some of the others. And I think that's probably her second or third harder foul. I'm a little bit regretting I didn't at least go with a warning of some kind here to this player, but I did blow the whistle hard to let them know. So I blew it harder, more sustained to kind of convey to the field that, hey, that's a different type of foul than some of the others. But I didn't end up talking to her.
So in my opinion, this would probably qualify as persistent infringement, PI, because as you said, if this is her third foul in the entire game, this is a perfect opportunity where everybody would be okay with the yellow card given that this is PI. If you were probably a bit 10 yards closer, because right now you're just outside the frame, you would be 10 yards closer, it would be easy having the yellow card in their hand, telling her, hey, that's 1, 2, and this is your third foul, here's a yellow card for PI. And I doubt anybody would even, say no to that. So I'd say that would be a perfect opportunity for the first yellow card of the game.
Yeah. I think, I was watching their body language, because sometimes I'll make the judgment of whether or not I go with a card based on how upset the player who was fouled. And I don't know if how upset is the wrong word, but you can kind of judge their body language of, are they getting agitated, and so is it going to... And I didn't judge that was happening, but I think you're right that I probably should have gone with the yellow there. Yeah.
So Scott, can you just back it up to the point where the AR2 calls the foul?
Yep.
And then I just want to mention something that he does there. So right there where he calls the foul, he's right, he has the perfect angle. My only opinion on that one would be for him to switch that flag down below his body and then call the flag or the foul coming out, exactly what he does there. But rather than have the flag up in the right hand and making everybody think, hey, is he calling a foul going in? I'd rather have him switch the flags down here by his lower body and then give it a wiggle and call it a foul coming out, which is what he does right there.
Yeah.
Just good mechanics and optics.
Yeah, agreed. Into minute 64, we've got two quick decisions here. So White kind of has the ball. The White attacker comes in and tries to actually steal the ball, gets position. White kind of goes down, but I thought that was a no call, and I think it's correct when I look at it. But then I end up calling this kind of trip or push through the back here. And what really happens here when I play this again, this blue player passes the ball over, and after the ball is away, White continues to run, and just kind of her left leg, kind of runs through this blue player's leg. So it just, the ball was away. She kind of started to go through her. I had a good angle on that. I saw what happened directly between them. I do immediately put the whistle up to my mouth, but I didn't blow it because I'm looking to see if, can they make something of that. But yeah, I think this is a good no call, and then a call here. No, pipe. I got it here. So there, I'm just letting them know that it wasn't like the foul that happened on the player who just took it. Just letting them know I'm bringing it back to this point on the kick. But into minute 66, we've got another offside call. This one on Doran's end. You got to get involved here again. So right here's our moment of decision. It's going to go to this White player on the far end of the screen. And we can see that she's a little bit further than this defender here. As we play it through, we can see there's another defender off here, and she looks deep, but I guess, Doran, you were right on that line, and she was probably coming back.
Yeah, so if you can see, already like 2 to 3 seconds have elapsed between when the attacker makes contact with the ball and when the pass was actually made, like the moment of decision. So that's where I knew that she was in offside position, and then she had come back to play the ball. So those 3 seconds are the crucial ones where some other defender comes in, but when the pass was made, she was definitely offside. Yep.
Less than a minute later, White is attacking into the penalty area, but this blue defender gets position. White kind of bumps her in the back, pushes her down. This is a very straightforward call, and I call that right away and give the defense a direct free kick coming out of the penalty area there.
One thing I would recommend for all of us officials, right, Scott, is as soon as any contact or any kind of pressure is there inside the 18-yard area, inside the box, where we may have a decision to make, either a PK or a foul coming out, I'd rather give the impression of me having a sprint or quick jog or be at the top of the 18-yard box. That way it kind of makes it very easy to sell the call. And I know I've done that mistake before where I'm far 25 yards away, and even if it's the right call, it just doesn't make a good impression. So as officials, let's make an attempt to, kind of be inside the box, at the top of the box.
I think you're right. My body language there isn't the best. Like, if I were another even 5 to 7 yards outside of the top of the penalty area, I could, then if I'm just closer, I can give it a lot more credibility.
Yep.
That's a good.
Because the first thing that the players do, okay, foul happened, where's the referee? Like, oh, he's right there.
Right.
Back up.
So into the 69th minute, we've got a moment here where there's a push, and it's kind of right there when they're battling for it. Let me back it up. Right, they're battling for it, coming into this battle, and then there's just this little extra push. But after I see the push, I see White, come off of that, and right there she rounds that corner, and she's got a couple of options for people who she could pass it to and get a breakaway. So I let it play a little bit, and then finally it's just like, nope, that advantage isn't going to materialize, and so she loses it. So I do end up finally blowing it. I can tell she's a little bit frustrated that I waited as long as I did, so I talked to her a little bit after this. All right, that's enough. I was letting it play, but it crossed the line, all right?
No, and that's one thing that I appreciate about referees, right? Like when we communicate with the players, and the players appreciate that too. It's like, okay, the referee's watching my back, he's just letting play, and he can always call it back for a foul. So that was good. That was good communication from you to the players.
Into minute 71, we've got another offside call. So ball's down here, and this white player is going to send it right there, and we can see that this white attacker her whole body is on the wrong side of the line. So she's another step back. She's going to be onside there, but Doran, you would have been standing right where this camera is, even so.
Yeah, it's half a body length, and she's on, but.
Less than a minute later, we've got a couple of quick decisions here. So these two players here in the middle of our screen are battling for the ball, and right here we'll see Blue slide down here. I made that a no call on the pitch. In all honesty, watching here in the video, I don't see any illegal contact from White. I think Blue just honestly slips on the turf. And then right here, there's a offside decision to be made because this player, let me do it in slow motion, this player sends the ball right there. And that's the moment of decision, and it's going to this number 9 White. And I guess, Doran, you would have been looking right on this line. What did you see?
So on this one, I thought for a second about the offside, but then I saw from the far corner of my eye, there's a player on the far side that's keeping her on by a millimeter or so. So that's why I chose to keep my flag down. And funny thing was, I had the SAC United coach right behind me, validating my standing and my position, and he was happy with the no call. And honestly, when I look at the video, I'm happy with the no call too. I think this is onside. The blue player on the far side keeps her on.
Yeah, and I think this one ended up being a critical match decision, is what they say, because she runs down here and she actually gets a pretty good shot on goal. In fact, she actually scores this one. Yeah, that was close, and those are the ones you got to be right on the line to see.
Yep.
So after that third goal, the game kind of chilled out for a while, and it's almost 12 minutes before we have our next decision. So here, Blue is on an attack coming into their penalty area, and then there's this white player, who just got beat, trips her from behind. And so I come in, I blow that whistle. I'm looking very closely to see, is that inside the penalty area or outside the penalty area? Because obviously I got a PK decision to make if it's in or even on the line. But then also I'm looking and I'm saying, well, does she have time space options? It's obviously not Dogso because there's some defenders, but she's got other players there that she could pass it to, and she's really coming straight in with a hard foul from behind. So I end up deciding I'm going to give a yellow card here for stopping a promising attack. I run in, and give her a yellow card for that. But I do first explain to the players that it's outside the penalty area. So let's listen to the audio.
It's out. No, it wasn't. It was outside. 18. You stopped her attack, okay? Hold it.
Yeah, that was pretty smart foul by her outside the box. She knew what she was doing, and the attacker had time, space, and options to make a pass inside the box. I would say that's definitely a tactical foul. A promising attack was stopped. And the one thing I did appreciate you about here was you went up to the player who fouled the player in blue. You walked up to her, you explained your decision and the rationale behind the yellow card. And you told her, hey, it's a tactical foul. You stopped her attack, and it's the yellow card. Good. No, that's good overall communication, and a perfect yellow card.
Into the 86th minute, we've got a pretty straightforward jumping into foul. So we're looking in the far corner of the field. This ball's up for grabs, and this white player is, in position. She's going to jump straight up at the ball. The blue player would like to get that ball instead, so she decides to go into that space, but you can't do that. Jumped right into her back, and so I just call that one right away, give them the direct free kick there. Okay, we're into minute 88, and this is our final call of the match. So this was a no call on the field, and if we watch it play out here, we see this blue player go down. You can see me wave it off and say, no foul, and she's upset about that. Looking at this, I think there's a couple of things happening. I waved it off, I think mostly because the way she falls, she appears to be selling this to me. Like after the contact, she kind of throws herself out, and in my opinion, I thought she was trying to draw something, and so I didn't want to, give her that. But at the same time, I also didn't have a good angle on this. I was looking through them, so I couldn't see how hard this bump is. And so with the benefit of the angle of this camera, I think she does receive foul contact to her back area there that sends her forward. I think she does try to sell it afterwards, but I probably should have called this, especially in a 3-0 game. I kind of missed this one here. And I think the selling it made me inclined not to want to call it. So maybe players, that's something to keep in. If you're a player and you watch this, keep in mind refs might not want to call it if you try to sell it too hard. But I do think with better positioning here, I would have still called this. So that ended up being our final decision of the match. First, or at least my first UPSL center in the books, and so let's see how our Sapper score turned out. So with 35 decisions and 3 deductions, that gives us a final Sapper score of 91.4%. So this is a good game in our book here. Now there's a few missed calls here, but I don't think there was anything that was so crazy that it affected obviously didn't affect the outcome of the match. One yellow card I probably should have given for that persistent infringement. I think that's the one I wish I really had back. The others, okay, there's some positioning. You're going to miss a call here or there, and some things to learn there in positioning. But this was an interesting match. It's very, with the better players, you can see that they want to play through contact, and I think this was a game where I kind of judged that as the game went on to see what level of contact did they want to play through versus at what point did they get upset about it. And I felt like I did a decent job in this one of kind of reading the room in throughout the game. Also, it was my only game of the day, so I felt like I did a pretty good job generally with positioning. A few things to, a few small sprints I could have done, but felt I kept up with it. But I guess, Doran, what do you see in the game wrap?
No, I definitely say so too. It's like the players, the coaches, everybody was respecting your calls. And the number one thing being is you were communicating to them, right? Every foul, every call, or every non-call. You were like, hey, play through that, find it. So as players, I've realized that they always appreciate when the referees communicate with them, right? Because then they see us through a human lens and not a robotic lens. So no, I think you did a pretty decent job on this one. It was I wouldn't say it was an easy game, but it was a well-managed game overall as a crew, and you did a pretty decent job of calling it that way.
And Doran, thank you very much. I know it's a big commitment to
course.
come in and sit down and do these reviews. So I always appreciate anybody who comes in. And
It's always a pleasure, man. As I said, referees like you, and there's a couple of other referees I know who are bloggers. It's always a teaching moment for us grassroots referees, right? We always learn from these videos. All we want to do is we want to learn, move on, and give our best out on the field to the players, right? Who deserve it, right? There's so many games happening around us. And all we want to do as referees is obviously make money, but give it our best on the field. So, no, good job. I mean, really, really kudos to you for spending all this time making all these videos. So, really, good job.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us for this episode of Reffing with the Sappers. I'm Scott.
I'm Duran.
And we'll
I'll
see you out on the pitch.
It's too hard. Not even trying to play the ball, right?
Oh, I disagree with you on that one.
Yeah, well, I watching it. I disagree too.
16. You okay? All right.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly.
Oh, sorry.
how it should be.
You're good too? Okay.
That's good.
You can't push her when the ball's away like that.
But she's standing right in front of me when I'm on a run. Okay.
She's entitled to exist, okay? All right.
Oh wow, that's funny how she's trying to sell the push to you. Wow. In fact, you have another offside
Yeah.
decision right
Yeah,
here.
play.
Well,
Yeah.
is she outside?
Ooh.
I remember this one when I came off the field. Remember my daughter was watching the match.
Sure.
And she was like, "Why didn't you call that one?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, she took a dive."